365. Good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, shake my hand. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the podcast. We are now in episode 7, chapter 8 of the science of getting rich. And chapter 8 is actually halfway through the book. This book is about 17 chapters, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just quickly confirm that. Yeah, 17 chapters. That means that you've done this by yourself at your own pace of one chapter a day. It would have taken you 17 days of the month to finish the book. This is important because apart from the teaching and the time together that we're spending, I want you to know how easy it is to slowly but surely start building a good habit. The good habit is accumulating knowledge that knowledge doesn't stay in these books, but becomes operational in your lives, right? My name is Leroy James Myceri. I am the host of your podcast, head trader of 365 Trading Academy, and thank you so much for joining me. My partner has been following the podcast on Spotify. It was actually yesterday or this morning where she actually decided to see what it looks like on YouTube, and she was like, "Why are you filming the podcast in your thinking room?" My thinking room is empty, right? It's as empty as possible. It's where I like to trade, zero distractions, etc., etc. So she told me literally that the next episode for the YouTube, those of you listening on Spotify, not much has changed, but I am in one of my small mini thinking other rooms, mini libraries, so to speak, in the house, and she feels it would be a better look. So she chose this one. So yeah, we'll move around the two main libraries in the house as we record, as we go by. But hope this visual is working for you. Right, I don't want to waste too much time. Let's get started. So we're doing chapter 8 of the book. But yesterday we spoke about a very, very important thing. I mean, if we're following what this guy is saying, number one, there's a certain way of doing things that gets you the riches. That certain way, he's going to make the argument, is actually quite scientific. Right now, he hasn't gotten there. But there's a specific way that rich people get wealth. That certain way is linked to how they think. How you think is the end result of the product you're going to get. Now, for you to change how you think, you have to align your thinking with an intelligent substance, a formless substance of which all things are made from. A thought in that creative substance produces the image impressed in the mind, right? So there's a thinking, right? You know that quotation that we've been dealing with. And then he spoke about a lot of things, the characteristics of a very good wealth creator. Good wealth creator doesn't have to rob people. Wealth creator doesn't have to charge unnecessarily steep prices to accumulate wealth. A wealth creator does not have to compete, right? He spoke about that in chapter 4 or 5, the issue of competition versus creation. We are here to create, not compete. And so how do we start to do that? In chapter 6, he then demonstrates the whole creative process, right? There are specific steps to do it, how to think, why to think like that, how to maintain and boost your faith around that thinking. And we've agreed together that what you think about most of the time creates, or you become, the end result of that. So you become what you think about all the time. In chapter 7 yesterday, he said, look, at the end of the day, you have to have a harmonious relationship with that intelligent substance. You literally have to have a harmonious relationship with that thing that creates all things. And the best way to do it is gratitude. And that's where we were. And I did encourage you yesterday. I really hope you have. I mean, today I'm bright and early. So I really hope last night you actually went to sleep with a gratitude journal. You track yourself, see how hard that is. I want you to understand, I want you to see the difficulty in implementing small things. If you have not been doing a gratitude journal all your life, I want you to see how difficult it is to actually be disciplined at that. That will give you a key indication of how far you have to go. I'm serious. If I was to tell you to write down on a piece of paper, I'm going to be a billionaire in the next 2 years. I'm going to be a billionaire in the next 2 years. And I say every single day, take a fresh piece of paper and write those words down for 90 days. You will be surprised. And by the way, I'll show you 10 people who did only that, who just wrote that down and became a billionaire. You'll be surprised how, as simple a task as that may sound, how difficult it will be for you. We call those atomic habits, breaking your hypnotic rhythm, breaking your day-to-day characteristics that make small decisions like, do I get out of bed? Do I snooze the alarm? Small little things make your micro big habits. So me asking you to have a journal where you put down your gratitude list, 5 things in the morning, 5 things at night, to you sounds like a very small thing. It sounds like a very non-consequential thing, and I'm telling you, it is absolutely important. So please do it, because most of you, or some of you I know, haven't jumped on that yet. Gratitude is the only way you can maintain a harmonious relationship with the intelligent substance. Not only that, but yesterday I told you guys, I gave you a sneak preview on the humanetics, the universal principles, universal laws. And the law of rhythm guarantees that bad days are coming. The law of rhythm is like gravity, can't be changed. It can't be denied. Bad days come for everyone. Good and bad days, lows and highs, all right? Dips and tips, etc. It's the way of life. The law of polarity helps you during those bad days. Just as much as we can guarantee there'll be bad days, we can guarantee a way out and around those bad days, a way that doesn't shake your center. The law of polarity, as I explained yesterday, once again, is heavily rooted in the principles and the universal law of gratitude. So staying grateful for what we have allows us to attract what we need, what we want, where we are going. I've been able to appreciate the current, being able to see what he said in chapter 2, where the appearance of the current reality is not what is suffocating the mind, but the mind can appreciate the future, the better. Being grateful for that ability is absolutely important. Right, guys, that's a quick review of the first 7 chapters we've done, and a kind reminder to get on the practical, on the hows. He's already started to give us a list of hows. How do we actually get rich? How does the science of getting rich work? He's literally laying down the step-by-step process. So chapter 8, which is today's chapter, we're gonna probably just do one chapter today again, is thinking in a certain way, in the certain way, thinking in the certain way. He kept saying there's a specific type of thinking that gets you these riches. So now he's going to address what that thinking is. Right, so I begin. Now turn back to chapter 6. Read again the story of the man who formed a mental image of his house, and you'll get a fair idea of the initial step toward getting rich. You know what I'm going to do at the end of every book? I'm going to go on Zoom, I'm going to go on the whiteboard, and we're going to go through a logical step ladder of what to do. It'll work as a big summary of the entire book with practical steps for traders, and for those of you in investing, and for those of you who are just looking to find a way to make money. All right, so I'm going to give you guys my synoptic short, succinct, step by step, chapter by chapter play, so you have it on one play, because you have to do something about these books, right? So read again the story of the man who formed a mental image of his house, and you will get a fair idea of the initial step toward getting rich. You must form clear, and a definite mental picture of what you want. You see, the reason why I don't like changing rooms sometimes is I don't have my highlighters here, I don't have my stationery, I have got a laptop in front of me that I have not used in 2 weeks. Everything of mine is in the other room, but it's fine. This is very important because Napoleon Hill talks about a definite goal. Brock Proctor talks about crystal clear objectives. You, in your own mind, must know what you want. I want to be rich, not good enough. How rich? Why that rich? Why 100,000 US dollars? Why not 110? Why not 90? Why? You have to know the number, because later on, we're going to have to build the steps to get there, right? So it has to be a clear mental image, a definite mental picture of what you want. You cannot transmit an idea unless you have it yourself. Man, I wish I could highlight all of this. You must have it before you can give it. You cannot transmit. So transmit sends. Remember, we spoke about in chapter 4 as well, the idea where this book isn't encouraging you to become 3 times the harder worker and taking in up extra shifts and going into the physical realm to create your wealth. The book says everything starts in the mind. So it's saying to transmit, we're now talking about the law of vibration. Right? It just depends how much you know about me and my little brother, the things that interest us and universal principles. But I can get lost in this world of vibration, your vibrational power, your transmission thought. But we're going to do these books together. We're going to do all these books together in this podcast. It's not like a 2022 podcast. This is helping me as much as it's helping, even though I've read this book before. All right, so this is a forever thing for those of you who are willing to grow as I grow. All right, so it's a tit for tat. But I want you to know this idea of transmission, although it's a one word, one line, it's such a big idea. Vibrational frequencies. You cannot transmit an idea unless you have it yourself. You must have it before you can give it. And many people fail to impress the thinking substance because they have themselves only a vague mystery concept of the things they want to do or to have or to become. Maybe we should one day ask Nai to join us in this podcast so she can bear witness to how I operate. There isn't a single thing that I approach that I don't have a massive drawing for. That I drew. I literally draw. If it's a house, I'll draw a blueprint plan. After we've seen the house, I'll draw the floor plan. And then we'll sit down and discuss everything that needs to go into that particular house. If it's a big idea, I'm going to map it out. Like literally all the crazy ideas, the steps, because if I don't have a clear picture of where I'm going, what I want, it is going to take me forever to start to transmit that idea. I'm sorry I'm butting in, guys, but this is so important. Chapter 8 is thinking in the certain way. He's really giving it to you. So you really have to take it, right? So you must have it before you can give it. And many people fail to impress the thinking substance because they have themselves only a vague and misty concept of the things they want to do or to have or to become. So if you check out my affirmations, I am the best African financial educator. I am the best trader in stocks, forex, currency, crypto, etc., etc. In my affirmations, I am very specific about who I want to be, who I am becoming, who I am now. I affirm my present and my future. I completely deny my past. There was a time where I didn't know. Now I know. But there's also a time coming where I will know more. So I'm constantly affirming that I have a clear picture of what I want to do, what I want to have, or who I want to become. It is not enough that you should have a general desire for wealth, to good with. Everybody has that desire. It is not enough that you should have a wish to travel, to see things, to live more, etc. Everybody has those desires also. If you were going to send a telegram message to a friend, telegram here would not mean telegram the way we understand telegram today. Telegram was those old school ways of communication, not the telegram app. But if you're going to send a telegram message to a friend, you would not send the letters of the alphabet in their order and let him construct the message for himself. Nor would you take words at a random from the dictionary. You would send a coherent sentence, one which meant something. When you try to impress your wishes upon the thinking substance, remember that it must be done by a coherent statement. You must know what you want and be definite. There isn't a single senior trader in the senior trader program, all right, in the senior trader program who still sits under my type of specific mentorship and does not submit to me their financial goals. I need to know what you think you want to get from the markets at the end of that particular year. And I get tons of these emails, and I get 2 or 3 people to help me put them all up on spreadsheets, so that when we sit down for the one-on-ones and I'm looking at your trading statement, your stop loss hits and your take profit targets and your lot size risking and your under risking, because you now made it. It's an interesting with traders. There's some people think all traders love big lot sizes. Some are like me. I don't like big lot sizes. I hardly ever, I'll do a standard lot size. I've done 2 standard lot size, but I never pass 3 or 4. Never. It doesn't matter the size of your account. Hardly ever. Right. And there's some traders who, when they make it, they also start to really under leverage because of fear of losing this new world that they've walked into. Right. So I match all of that with your overall goals, because I now know what you want to target for. You need that in your life. You need to hold yourself accountable to a specific standard. So when you impress your wishes upon the thinking substance, remember that it must be done by a coherent statement. You must know what you want and be definite. You can never get rich or start the creative power into action by sending out unformed longings and vague desires. Go over your desires just as the man I've described went over his house. All right? See just what you want and get a clear mental picture of it as you wish it to look when you get it. As the sailor has the port toward which he is sailing in his mind, you must have a clear mental picture actually in your mind. You must keep your face toward it all the time. You become what you think about most of the time. You must no more lose sight of it than the steersman loses sight of his compass. It is not necessary to take exercises in concentration, nor to set apart special times for prayer and affirmation, nor to go into the silence, nor to do occult stunts of any kind. These things are well enough, but all you need is to know what you want and to want it badly enough so that it will stay in your thoughts. Napoleon Hill calls this a burning desire. It's not enough to have a desire to do well. You must have a burning desire. The reason why he says a burning desire is because the desire must consume you. My entire life, I am consumed by trading. I have 3 big objectives when I'm working from home or in the office. Everybody, my entire life rotates around my burning desire. Right? It's not the other way around. I don't find time to make time for trading or to understand the markets. I find time. I try to make time to go to the bathroom when it's time for me to sit down and work for those 12 hours a day. I am obsessed with what I want. So he's saying, look, man, it doesn't have to be a big deal where you're cultivating and scheduling around. It's now 5 a.m. I have to go read my affirmations card. He's simply saying, look, at the end of the day, what you need is you need to know what you want and to want it badly enough so that it stays in your thoughts. Now, I've got a little bit of tricks for that. Number 1, an affirmation card. Number 2, I have a ticking system of how many times I read my affirmations out loud to myself. It helps me. It's how I know I've done a good job. I affirm myself 10 times today. If I affirm myself 10 times tomorrow, and I affirm myself 10 times on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in 1 week, I've told myself 70 times I am a consistent, profitable trader. In 1 week. In 1 week, I've told myself I am the best African wealth educator. So when I come up with new ideas to help students, I am so confident that what I am doing is going to work because I am working on myself, on becoming that type of person. By the end of the year, if all I do is affirm myself 10 times a day, that is 3,650 affirmations that I have told my human brain, I have consistently kept my goal right in my steering path, right? So that's how I do it. But he says at the end of the day, you need to want it badly enough so that it stays in your thoughts. Check how distracted you get. There's another book we should read. It's in the other office. It's not here. Right. But you can look it up. It's called Speaking with the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And it talks about drifters. Most human beings drift. They have no control of their minds. They move from happiness to sadness. They just drift. They grab onto any thought that will swing them anywhere. That's very dangerous. You must want it badly enough that it stays in your thoughts. Remember, you have to safeguard the faith which cultivates the gratitude, which cultivates more faith to maintain thinking of what you want to get it. So this is important. Now, spend as much of your leisure time as you can contemplating this picture. So when you're free, visualize. I'm using other words. Visualize this end goal of yours. Remember that no one needs to take exercises to concentrate in his mind on a thing which he really wants. It is the things you do not really care about which require effort to fix attention upon them. Unless your desire to get rich is strong enough to hold your thoughts on the purpose as the magnetic pole holds the needle of a compass, it will hardly be worthwhile for you to try to carry out the instructions given in this book. The methods that I am presenting here are for people whose desire for riches is strong enough to overcome mental laziness and love of ease. The more clear and definite you make your picture and the more you dwell upon it, the stronger your desire will be. And the stronger your desire, the easier it will be to hold your mind fixed upon the picture of what you want. However, something more is necessary than merely seeing the picture clearly. If that is all you do, you're only a dreamer and you'll have little or no power for accomplishment. Behind your clear vision must be the purpose to realize it. I want you to remember, we're doing chapter 8, thinking in a certain way. This is like step by step. If I had a pencil and a highlighter, I would be drawing all over this book. All right. So I've got 3. Normally a good book is I'll buy 2 or 3 copies. You see the first version. I'll show it to you in the next video. Completely highlighted, notes by the side. This is the stuff, guys. This is the steps. It's the practical approach that is kind of like delivering. The more clear and defined you make your picture and the more you dwell upon it, the stronger, okay, your desire will be. And the stronger your desire, the easier it will be to hold your mind fixed upon the picture of what you want. However, something more is necessary than merely seeing the picture clearly. If that is all you do, you are only a dreamer and will have little or no power for accomplishment. Behind your clear vision must be the purpose to realize it, to bring it out in the tangible expression. And behind this purpose must be an invincible, unwavering faith that the thing is already yours, that it is at hand and you have only to take possession of it. Live in the new house mentally until it takes form around you physically. In the mental realm, enter at once into a full enjoyment of the things you want. Because my content is largely around traders, I'll always have a lot of trading examples, but I'm hoping the podcast will touch different people from different walks of life. And if you want to become a trader, please join us. It's fantastic. It's amazing. It's a beautiful challenge and it's worth every step. But dear traders, you ever notice where you take a trade that you're not sure of? And you know you're not sure because everything about your physical anatomy is telling you you're not sure. You are scared, you are paranoid, you are checking every single time frame from the 1 minute. You're not even sure if price is gonna drop all the way down to your stop loss before going up. That is what he is referring to. You need unwavering faith. Now, I'm not trying to link this to say there is magic faith where you can take a bad trade, sit and watch the chart go up, and it's a bad trade and instead of price going down. That's not what I'm saying. We're not in the matrix. We're not going to change matter in that particular sense. I am saying he is really referring to a steady mind that is confident in its overall thinking process to attain its actual goal. And that is a phenomenal skill that most traders really have to learn, right? Your part in this entire thing is very important. Now, I've lost where we were. Give me a second. because we were talking about unwavering faith, that the thing is already yours, that it is at hand and you have only to take possession of it. Live in the new house mentally until it takes form around you physically. In the mental realm, enter once into a full enjoyment of the things you want. Whatsoever things ye ask for when you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them, said Jesus. See the things you want as if they were actually around you all the time. See yourself as owning and using them. Make use of them in imagination, just as you will use them when they are your tangible possessions. Dwell upon your mental picture until it is clear and distinct. Then take the mental attitude of ownership toward everything in that picture. I don't want to keep doing sound bites, but in my affirmations, the last line is, I can already see the money. It is already in my possession. I will have 500,000 US dollars by the 25th of December 2022, because I can feel it, I can see it. It is already, it's literally in my affirmation card, which I read to you guys 2 days ago, right? So I'm taking that mental picture, and then I'm taking the mental attitude of ownership toward everything in that picture. Take possession of it in your mind in the full faith that it is actually yours. Hold to this mental ownership. Do not waver for an instant in the faith that it is real. And remember what was said in chapter 7 about gratitude. Be as thankful for it all the time as you expect to be when it has taken form. So that's quite interesting. I have a toddler. My boy is 7 years old. He is the sweetest, softest human being you'll ever meet. Just a sweet young lad. Takes after his mother. And me and him fight sometimes because I am disciplined. And mommy is more, mommy's just mommy, she's awesome, she's tender, she's always just mellow. She's very big on what's called soft parenting. Right. So me being me and the way I was raised, I love manners. I love it when kids say thank you, because yes, you should be very grateful. But that type of conditioning for any human psychology presets a relationship engagement in life, in money, etc., etc. It means I've done this for you, therefore you now need to be grateful. So he's learning that right now. Right? I did this for you, grateful. We made supper, thank you for supper, grateful. You wanted this toy, I bought you the toy, you now have the toy, grateful. He's saying the opposite. Right? I gotta start teaching my little boy this now. This is even better. He says, listen, man, be thankful for it all the time as you expect to be when it has taken form. So I need to start to find myself in a place where I am already grateful for what I want, what I'm thinking about before I actually have it. The person who can sincerely thank God for the things which he owns only in imagination has real faith. That person will get rich. That person will cause the creation of whatsoever he wants. You do not need to pray repeatedly for the things you want. It is not necessary to tell God about it every day. Use not vain repetitions as the heathen do, said Jesus to his pupils. For the Father knoweth that ye have need for these things before you even ask. Your part is to intelligently formulate your desire for the things which make for a larger life, and to get these desires arranged into a coherent whole. You must then impress this whole desire upon the formless substance, which has the power and the will to bring you what you want. You do not make this impression by repeating strings of words. You make it by holding the vision with unshakable purpose to attain it, and with steadfast faith that you will attain it. The answer to prayer is not according to your faith while you are talking, but according to your faith while you are working. You cannot impress the mind of God by having a special Sabbath day set apart to tell him what you want and then forgetting him during the rest of the week. If you do not think of your prayer until the hour of prayer comes again, you cannot impress him by having special hours to go into your closet and pray. Oral prayer has its effects in clarifying your vision, strengthening your faith, but it is not your oral repetitions which will get you what you want. In order to get rich, you do not need a sweet hour of prayer. You need to pray without season. And by prayer, I mean holding steadily to your vision with the purpose of causing its creation into solid form, and the faith that you are doing so. Believe that you have received. Once you have clearly formed your vision, the whole matter turns on receiving. When you have formed it, it is well to make an oral statement. You know, Ray Dalio, before I forget, third or fourth biggest hedge fund manager in the world, does something called transnational, I've forgotten the full term, transmeditation, but it's basically this stuff that we're talking about right here. He's a billionaire. Ray Dalio is not just a billionaire. He's not just a fund manager. He's not just the blueprint of where I want to take 365 as a hedge fund. No. He is also intrinsically a really, really good example of this type of idea that we're talking about. Right? So that's why this stuff is important to me. And if you are interested in the things I'm interested, it should become important to you. All right, so from that moment, when you have formed it, it is well to make an oral statement by addressing the supreme power in reverent prayer. From that moment on, you must receive in your mind what you ask for. You must receive in your mind what you ask for. Live in the new house, wear the fine clothes, ride the automobile, go on the journey, confidently plan for the greater journeys, think and speak of all the things you have asked for in terms of actual present ownership. Imagine the exact environment and financial condition you desire and live all the time in that imaginary environment and financial condition. Mind, however, that you do not do this as a mere dreamer and a castle builder. Hold to the faith that the imaginary is being realized to the purpose required to realize it. Remember that it is faith and purpose in the use of the imagination which make the difference between the scientist and the dreamer. And having learned this fact, it is here that you must learn the proper use of will. We will talk about the proper use of will tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, when we are now getting to chapter 9. How to use the will. But ladies and gentlemen, that's our chapter for today. I hope you did enjoy it. Right, episode 7, chapter 8 of the podcast. Tomorrow we'll be looking into chapter 9 and so forth and so forth and so forth. As usual, I see the comments. I appreciate it, guys. Keep talking to me if it's helping you. I remember this is the best and easiest gift in the world for people you care about. Share this link with them. If you're on Spotify, get a lot of people to download it. It's all for free, right? So no one is literally, how do we get to give back? How do we get to help? And I think this is a perfect way. But apart from that, we get to read at least at a minimum one good book a month, which is 12 books in a year, which is